good morning. Welcome to the K-Files. I've got my guest co-host, Tim Askew.
Good morning.
How you doing, Tim?
Doing well, sir. Hope you are.
Thanks for coming on. Doing great. Have you finished your Christmas shopping?
Just about, thanks to the wife.
Yeah, they come in handy from time to time.
Yeah, they do,
when
don't
it's
they?
time for shopping and buying gifts, right?
Exactly.
You know, we left here last week. Got on 301, traveling down towards Barnhill, and unbeknownst to me at the time, man, I saw law enforcement swamped everywhere. And
Yes,
we
we did.
didn't really know what was going on at the time, and we learned that over the past week it was a double homicide that had apparently taken place overnight, Wednesday, right? And
Thursday morning around the end.
you know, hats off to Rocky Mount Police Department. They had an arrest in relatively quick.
Yep.
What do we know about this Eric Coley? This case, do you know anything?
From what I read on it, there was a 42-year-old black male that had supposedly shot two young people. One was 28, and the male was 28, and the female was 24, and shot them overnight. And two small children were left in the car overnight, while these two victims were deceased in average temperature of 38 degrees.
Yeah, I saw on the news, I believe it was WRL was reporting that both children apparently had been treated for hypothermia.
Yes, that's correct.
You know, it's bad that anybody got killed. It's terrible. And to leave those children behind in that car, I'm thankful he left them and they weren't harmed.
Absolutely.
But, you know, bad situation.
Bad situation. Both of them were toddler age, so you're talking small children.
Very young.
Yes.
That could have been a, you know, life and death situation in and of itself, because
Exactly.
temperatures dipped down to what that night?
38, I think, is what it was when they said it was when I read the article.
Again, hats off to Rocky Mount Police Department making a quick arrest in this case. You know what I'd love to know? I'd love to know Eric Coley's criminal history background, because I'm on this show weekly, and I tell people over and over again, it's my professional opinion that it's a small group of people who perpetrate this stuff in Rocky Mount, this crime and this violence over and over and over again. If Eric Coley has an extensive criminal history, criminal background, I'd love to know if he should have been incarcerated, because if he had been incarcerated,
The situation would have never happened.
that's exactly right.
That's it. And you see a lot of that these days.
Yeah.
You truly do.
They elude that there were additional charges, possession of a firearm by a felon. Well, if he's a felon, guess what?
Yep.
This is typical behavior of a felon. I look forward to learning more
Absolutely.
about this case in the coming weeks. Something we've talked about here on the K-Files several months was about an Eagle Scout project for Skeet's boy.
Okay.
Jeff Sherrod's son, Parker, got a real kind thank you note, and I just wanted to kind of read it to the viewers. And it says, "Dear friends and family, I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you to each of you for donating money to my Eagle Scout project and or for buying plates during the fundraising efforts. Without your help, completion of this project would not be possible, and I cannot stress enough how much your generosity means to my family and to me. When all the project plans are completed and set into place, we would like to have a viewing ceremony for anyone who would like to join. It would mean so much if you could be there. Thank you so much, and thanks again for your support, Parker." You know, his project was to raise money and have the dates cut on the monument in front of the courthouse in Nashville for law enforcement officers that had been killed in the line of duty. And I didn't realize there were names that were Not on
didn't
there.
either. I didn't either.
I didn't know that. So my hat's off to a very thoughtful, very kind, very pro law enforcement Eagle Project idea. Parker, hats off to you. Good job, man. Good job. One of the cases we're going to talk about this morning is Desmond Rashawn Batts. Desmond Rashawn Batts. This is a case from 2015. We were talking about it earlier. December 27th, 2015, about this time of year. Desmond Batts, who was 24 years old at the time, was shot and killed at MLK Park in Rocky Mount. Rocky Mount Police Department got reports of shots fired in the area. Batts, who was from Tarboro, was found lying in a pool of blood on Virginia Street in Rocky Mount near MLK Park. This took place about 11:40 a.m. EMS tried to revive Batts, but they were unsuccessful. You know, 11:40 a.m. It's the middle of the day.
Sure is.
Just visiting the park, murdered right in the middle of the park, broad daylight. It looks like to me somebody somewhere should have seen something.
I agree. In an open park at that time of the day.
You know, I'm sure this family has questions. I'm sure this family wants answers. I'm sure this family wants justice for their loved one. Folks, if you know something, if you know somebody who you think may know something on this case, please pick the phone up, call Twin County Crime Stoppers at 252-977-1111. Report it, text a tip to Rocky Mount PD. All tips and your name remain anonymous, and get paid. You know, help bring closure to this family. You know, we had been in talks with Bernie Taylor.
Yes.
From Edgecombe County. He is the BLET director over, and he's extremely busy. But hopefully in the coming weeks, he's going to come on and talk to us about people who want a career in law enforcement. Folks, across the state, people are retiring at an alarming rate. And these people have to be replenished, not even considering growing populations. My son, my middle son, Jacob's 20 years old. He came to me about 2 years ago and said, you know what I think I'm going to do, Dad? I think I want to be a state trooper. I thought, oh my God. And then I thought back to when I told my mom that I wanted to go into law enforcement. My mom did not want me to have any part of it.
I'm sure.
And, you know, we need good people. People with a good moral compass to come into law enforcement. A lot of people think anybody can be a cop. That's not the case.
That's not the case.
You stop and think, you've done backgrounds for the Highway Patrol
Yes,
on
sir.
candidates. What do y'all look for? What's automatic deal breakers?
Lying,
Lying.
that's the key one.
White lies. Yeah.
When they're interviewed and then we go back and research the paperwork and then call and this, that, and the other to make sure everything is good to go, then you might find that one where they lied.
Yeah.
And the patrol don't put up with lying.
Yeah. You know, I never realized until I got in law enforcement, especially on the patrol, people tell little white lies. And with the Highway Patrol, folks, if you tell a little white lie as a trooper, and when I say little white lie, I mean a little white lie, and they find out about it, they're going to fire you. And I made the comment one time to a supervisor. I was like, why? He said, because you're wearing a black and silver uniform, you testify in court before a judge. We want that judge, we want that jury, we want the public to know that when you raise your right hand and whatever you say in court is the truth, it's the gospel. And you know, I got to appreciate that.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
But my son Jacob graduates from Nash Tech this spring with his associate's degree in criminal justice. He's going to go on and finish his bachelor's, and he wants to, like I say, he wants to be a highway patrolman, and I'm going to help him in any way that I can. But we do need good people in law enforcement.
You give them kudos for kids that age that still want to do this job that you and I did for 30 years.
In the current environment.
In the current
Yeah.
environment, the way things have changed, my hats are off
Yeah.
to them young kids. They get a whole lot of respect from me from them.
But like I say, Bernie's going to come on here in the next few weeks from Edgecombe Community College. Folks, if you're thinking about a career in law enforcement, I would encourage you to reach out to Bernie Taylor at Edgecombe Community College. They do,
Normally 2 a year.
two BLET programs a year.
One going on now.
Yeah, because we teach
In
week
2
after
weeks?
next. Yeah.
Yep.
We still teach basic law enforcement recruits, just like we did for the patrol for years. Law enforcement needs you. Just like the people in Rocky Mount, Nash, Edgecombe, Wilson, Halifax County, these families need your information. They need the tips that you might have. And look, get paid $15,000, up to $15,000 for a tip that you might think is worthless, useless, and remain anonymous. Tim, are you familiar with this MLK Park? I'm not. I was not familiar with it.
It's been a while. Virginia Street's right there when you first get into Edgecombe County. So it's just on the inside, on the other side of the tracks.
Gotcha.
They split the counties, but I don't remember where it's at myself right off the bat.
Let's talk about this next case.
All right.
The next case that we're going to talk about is Jaquan Antonio Underhill. This case is from April 17th, 2016. Jaquan Antonio Underhill was in a vehicle with others traveling on West Raleigh Road in Rocky Mount when someone opened fire on the vehicle near Kitchen Drive. Underhill was taken to the hospital where he later succumbed to his injuries. So it sounds like to me he was just driving down the road.
And you'll never know if it was random or if it was a hit or drug related or anything. You don't never know. And I mean, just an innocent man going down the road.
April 17th, 2016, Jaquan Antonio Underhill. Folks, this could be me or you traveling in a car in Rocky Mount or anywhere for that matter. We don't know if he was targeted. We don't know if it was random. Folks, if you know something about this case, please pick the phone up. Call Twin County Crime Stoppers 252-977-1111. Text a tip to Rocky Mount PD. Remain anonymous. Get paid. You know, these families, they want closure.
Some comfort. Yep.
And to me, I want to see people held accountable for their actions.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm all about forgiveness. I'm all about second chances. But to me, it's always been my opinion, you know, a crime is about punishment. I can forgive you. I can give you a second chance. I can help you better yourself. But there should be a punishment factor. And these people, if they were held accountable, if they were incarcerated, if they were in the county jail, if they were in DOC, I promise you, they're not going to be perpetrating crime in Rocky Mount.
Not a bit. Because if you do
They're
the
not.
crime, you do the time.
They're not.
So,
I just, anybody who follows me on Facebook, you know I love to kind of venture over into politics. I love talking about the Sheriff's Department. I love talking about law enforcement, good and bad. I'll be the first to call out a bad cop. Kind of had a reputation on the Highway Patrol being known as a Boy Scout because you do anything illegal, unethical around me and I'm going to tell on you. That's who I was. That's who I am. Let's look at Baylor Police Department. It's been all over the news.
yes, it does.
All over the news. Folks, unethical behavior will find you out every time. Small town of Bailey, You can hear a little bit about everything. They hired a police chief who was dismissed from DMV enforcement. We don't know why. I'm sure the town of Bailey knows why, but they hired her. They made her chief of police. And it may have been a situation where she was, you know, in law enforcement, you see this a lot. You're either asked to resign or be fired. It's kind of a common practice. Bailey gave her an opportunity. I've met her. Seems like she hired this other police officer, and apparently there was some conversation between her and this other officer about how to report time on a timesheet in an unethical manner, okay? And as you know,
Falsifying no time sheet.
and it's been my experience, you know, I don't care if it's 5 minutes, I don't care if it's a minute. You get caught lying on a timesheet, training and standards is going to get involved. You're going to get terminated, and then on top of that, training and standards is going to pull your certification.
Yes,
They do not tolerate unethical behavior in law enforcement. Again, it doesn't matter if you work at Baylor, if you work for Highway Patrol, training and standards will pull your certification. But anyway, just like I want law enforcement held to a higher standard, I have no problem with it.
Right.
I don't care if you work for EMS, fire, rescue, I don't care who you work for as far as government goes. You should be held accountable. Okay, there should be a public trust there.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Highway Patrol preached this to us, and that is public perception, public perception, public perception.
You live
Keep
in a
your car
glass
clean.
house. That's exactly.
Keep your car clean, keep your shoes shined, keep your uniform pressed, okay? And anyway, just like we are going to hold these people accountable, I want public officials, elected officials held accountable. And what we're going to do is kind of stop this right here, because we're fixing to dove off into something, a rabbit hole. And we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back right after these messages.
In Nashville. Come on in and enjoy our legendary tender and juicy Omaha Angus ribeyes. And try and share our seafood entrees, your choice of shrimp, flounder, or oysters. And especially don't forget our famous salad bar with all your favorite fixins. If you want to give that someone special something to revel in, Ribeyes gift certificates can be made to order. And as you're looking for somewhere to host a business meeting or special event, you can reserve the Angus Room. Ribeye Steakhouse of Nashville, over 10 years of great food.
Come to Davenport's Gifts and Fine Furnishings for that VIP red carpet experience. You'll find Nora Tacky and Lennox China, Waterford Crystal, Fitz and Floyd, new and antique furniture, as well as decorative and unusual accessories. Davenport's is your headquarters for Kaspari napkins and placemats, and our exclusive candles celebrating Rocky Mount neighborhoods. Whether you're shopping for the holidays or just looking for everyday furnishings, Davenport's Gifts and Fine Furnishings has something elegant that you're sure to fall in love with new items arriving daily. Davenport's Gifts and Fine Furnishings, located in the Westridge Village Shopping Center. Gift cards now available.
Eastern North Carolina Indoor Shooting Sports Center is the place to go for indoor shooting, archery, and axe throwing. If you want to protect your family, we offer concealed carry classes as well as NSSF firearms training. For that special holiday gift, don't forget, we have gift certificates available. Open every day except Tuesday and Wednesday. Eastern North Carolina Indoor Shooting Sports Center.
Christmas is coming and we all want to shop local. Shop local the convenient way at Small Shops Mall, 2916 Sunset Avenue, where we have about 6 dozen local merchants all under one roof. Phil's Music Exchange, vintage toys, books, crystals, antiques, clothing, Dixie Belle paint, candles, board games, card games, video games, 3D printed items, NASCAR items, and a whole lot more. Be sure and check out the brand new Trade It store next door with 10,000 square feet of great stuff at bargain prices. Trade It has games and game systems, phones, stereos, gold jewelry, DVDs, video games, guitars, tools, computers, and most anything else you can think of. And right now with Christmas coming, Trade It is desperate to buy your unwanted goods. We're looking for anything, pretty much anything that a fat man in a red suit might shove under a pine tree, we're buying it. So if you have some extra stuff and you could use a few more greenbacks, come see us here at Trade It at 2916 Sunset Avenue in the awesome Inglewood Square Shopping Center right next to Wells Fargo Bank.
I'm Daniel Moss, owner of Cornerstone Funeral Home, and I'd like to invite you and your family to give our family an opportunity to serve you in your time of need. And we offer a full line of funeral services, everything from visitations to graveside services to cremations on site with a live crematory, as well as a banquet hall to meet the catering needs of our families that we serve. We offer catering service, we offer refreshments prior to visitations and services of our family, and we want to invite you to come and experience the difference here at Cornerstone Funeral Home.
And welcome back. We were just talking about accountability of law enforcement. You know and I know in a quick minute, if you are accused of doing something unethical or illegal, especially if it involves the public or public money as far as the highway patrol goes, as far as law enforcement goes, the state's going to be all over you. And they will not make any hesitation in prosecuting you to the fullest extent of the law. You know that. I've seen it. And it should be that way.
Yes, it should.
But it should be that way across the board, elected officials included. And that kind of goes over into what I was, leaning towards. As you know, the state auditor came to Rocky Mount a few years ago, and she kind of uncovered a lot of things. And a lot of people don't understand, but she can't bring criminal charges.
Mm-mm.
The only thing she can do is uncover it. And without kind of going down another rabbit hole, all I'm going to say is, and I'm going to leave it at this, if criminal behavior has taken place, I don't care where, especially if there's a state report that's pointing fingers at individuals, I would hope that it's looked into further. Just because one elected official chooses not to kind of go down a rabbit hole or investigate further, maybe a new DA or a new fresh eyes could look at it. Okay?
Nobody's above the law.
That's exactly right. And I'm not accusing anybody of anything.
Oh, absolutely not.
But I would hope that's something that is looked at. But talking about cases in this book, I've told people time and time again, when I open up a concealed carry class, I start with this book. And I tell the public, look, the point of my class is to keep you out of a book like this. You have an obligation to yourself and to your family to keep yourself safe. You have that obligation. You know, depending on where you live in the county, you pick the phone up, you dial 911. Yes, you might have a deputy sheriff a mile up the road. But you know, if you live at Patty Harris Crossroads, or if you live on the Nash-Johnson County line, odds are you pick the phone up at 1 o'clock in the morning, dial 911, you need a sheriff's office. Let's just be real, there's going to be an extended
It is. An
ETA.
extended ATA.
It could be 2 minutes, it could be 12. What are you going to do in that 10 or 12 minute wait time while somebody's trying to break in your house and harm you? Folks, please, you have an obligation to keep yourself and your family and your loved ones safe. I would encourage you to reach out, get firearms training. get your concealed carry, do some shooting, get some training, regardless if you get it from me, if you get it from Tim, if you get it from Bernie, if you get it from a gun range here in Rocky Mount, please, especially this time of year, look at the news. What's going on? Shootings at Home Depot and
malls and
Durham, and it can happen anywhere. So I'm not making a jab at Rocky Mount. I'm not making a jab at Durham. It can happen anywhere. Just like this conduct I was talking about, law enforcement officers, my hometown, Bailey. It can happen anywhere. My point is, be prepared, have a plan, and so that when something does happen, you know exactly what you need to do to protect yourself. Let's talk about this next case, Tim.
All right.
This next case we're going to talk about is Keenan Lamont Newton. Keenan Lamont Newton. This case is from June 10th, 2016. Took place around 9:54 p.m. So in June, 10 o'clock at night, it's dark. Officers responded to 1011 Branch Street in Wilson to check a person's welfare. The caller reported the subject was lying face down in the backyard of a residence and not moving. Officers arrived and found that the victim had suffered a gunshot wound. EMS arrived and determined that the victim, Keenan, was deceased. There's limited information in this case. A lot of times what I've noticed in this book is as I'm going through these cases, Wilson cases typically are very short, sweet, to the point, and don't offer up a lot of details.
Not much.
Again, Keenan Lamont Newton, shot, killed sometime around 10 o'clock at night. EMS arrived and found the victim had deceased. Folks, if you know anything about this case, please call 252-406, 252-977-1111. It is a Wilson case. We do share information with Nash, Edgecombe, Wilson, Halifax County. Speaking of Halifax County, we're still kind of in negotiations with the new sheriff to get him on, or his representative on. I'm hearing lots of good things. I've got a lot of law enforcement contacts as well as you do. Hearing a lot of good things about the Halifax County Sheriff's Office.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, me and you we went up in the northern part of Nash County a few weeks ago, and the people that we met with were going on and on and on about the new sheriff. So hats off to you. You're making a positive impression with the public already, but we'd love to have you on. Let's talk about this next case. This next case here is also a Wilson case, and it's extremely short in its details. James Graham. This case is from 2016. June 8th, 2016. James Calvin Graham Jr. was found in a field. What's that road?
Cisterna
Road in Wilson County. He was reported missing on June 6, 2016, and his car was found after being set afire at Buckhorn Landing on June 4th, 2016. Law enforcement, okay? Your perspective. Anytime you hear tell of a fire being set to a car, why?
Get rid of evidence.
Get rid of evidence.
Happens every time.
Yeah.
They try to get rid of all the evidence.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
So as soon as I read fire was involved, flag goes up with me. This is not random. This
to me, it sounds more like a robbery or kidnapping.
by a career criminal.
Exactly.
By somebody who knows the system, who knows how to supposedly cover their tracks. Again, James Graham, cases from June 2016. Black male found down near Buckhorn Landing, that's down my way, June 4th, 2016. Folks, we say this all the time. You may know something about this case. You may know somebody who you think might know a detail about this case. You don't know how to report it. You don't know who to share it with. You don't know who not to share it with. Pick the phone up. Call 252-977-1111. Share that information. Get paid up to $15,000. A lot of the cases in this book offer supplemental rewards as well. Some of them by family, some of them by the governor's office. Look, I'm not saying do it for the money. I'm saying collectively do it for the family. Do it for the victim. Do it to hold these people accountable. Hey, do it to get paid. We all know, I mean, at the end of the day, money will make you feel a little bit better about, sharing some information. It's all about bringing justice to these families.
The comfort that has a lot to do with it. You can't bring that person back, but just that little bit of information that could put that person away could finally give that where they could rest and have some comfort.
Well, it has a lasting effect on family members,
It
too.
does.
These two young infants, okay, that was found in this car, okay? You can say what you want to. They are going to have memories in some shape, form, or fashion of this
That's going to affect them.
the rest of their life.
Yes, sir.
And it's sad. So
You can't fathom.
they need to have comfort in knowing that the guy who perpetrated this is going to be held accountable. He's going to be punished.
That's right.
He's going to be locked up. That justice is going to be served. Okay? Those children deserve that. They need the comfort of knowing that he's not out here walking the street 10 years from now.
And doing the same thing, possibly
doing-
something,
that's
doing it
right.
right again.
I'm not saying you don't forgive the guy, okay? That's between him and the good Lord, okay?
That's exactly right.
But people need to be held accountable for their actions. You were my supervisor on the highway patrol. You wrote me up. I mean, and you know this, okay? Did I ever change my attitude?
No, sir.
No, because with me, business is business. And I deserve to be held accountable for my actions. I tell my children I'll go in there, when they were younger especially, grab them by one hand and burn them up. And I'd look them right in the eye with a tear coming out of mine and say, you know what? I love you. I love you. I can remember my mom tearing me up with a switch.
Yeah.
And her telling me, this hurts me as bad as it hurts you. And I'm sitting there thinking,
No, it don't neither.
crazy.
I was just thinking the same thing.
You know.
No, it does.
But I
promise.
didn't realize that pain.
Until a parent.
That's
You
right.
became a parent.
My wife, when we started having kids, she said, JP, what you don't understand is I never had a whooping. I said, you never had a whooping? She said, my mom and daddy never put their hands on me. I said, well, all I can tell you is there must be a difference between raising boys and raising girls. I said, because now my mama beat she beat us.
The shoes right off your, the shoes right off your
But you
feet.
know,
Yep.
my mom always told us, she said, look, the reason I believe in holding my children accountable and punishing you is because I'm not going to see you at the jailhouse. And she would tell us, if you get arrested,
Don't call me.
don't waste your call. Don't waste your single phone call calling me, because I ain't coming. And I tell my kids the same thing. You get yourself into a jam, you get arrested, don't waste your call calling me. You might want to call your mama, your grandma, and your granddad. Don't call me, because I ain't coming. But my kids know I love them, and they know I believe in equal-handed punishment.
Needs to
And
be more like that today.
and again, you do it out of love. You
Oh,
don't do it out of
yeah.
spite. You do it out of love. And folks, if you love Rocky Mount, if you love Bailey, if you love Nash County, sometimes it hurts to hold people accountable. It hurts. You might think it's going to reflect negatively, but it does not. It does just the opposite, because you're sending a message, just like in Bailey. You're not going to tolerate, you're not going to put up with unethical criminal behavior. My kids know in my household what I will and what I will not put up with and what I will not tolerate.
My boys were the same way.
I remember telling my mama one time, I said, you know, I'm going to call the police. I'm going to call 911. My mom said, call them. She said, because they're going to leave. And when they leave, I'm going to get you again. I thought, you know what, that probably wasn't a smart threat.
No, that wasn't smart.
But I miss my mama, man. I miss my mama.
You look back now and you wonder why you got tore up so much and didn't like them for nothing. You look back now and are thankful for every whooping you ever had.
I am, because it made me who I am.
Exactly.
Sure did. You know, you can't help but make the argument. Hillary Clinton said, it takes a village. And I'm not a fan of Hillary Clinton, but I'm going to tell you something. It really does. My dad died when I was 4. And as far as it taking a village, you know, I was kind of raised by a grandmother, another grandparent, aunts and uncles, and neighbors. Okay, I grew up in a time where your neighbor would whoop you. Your grandma would whoop you and point out your behavior. They'd pray with you, and
You're exactly right.
you know, it's not like that anymore.
No, sir. Nothing like it.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's do. We're at a breaking point. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
The Edgecombe Community College Caheen Auditorium 2022-23 Performance Series is back. North Carolina Symphony Holiday Pops and A Christmas Carol. Coming in 2023, the Zuzu African Acrobats. And yes, you heard right, the Rat Pack one more time. The Kings of Las Vegas Swing. And wrapping up the season, To Kill a Mockingbird, Matilda the Musical, and Rashomon. Season tickets on sale now. Don't miss out. Get your season tickets today.
In 123 years, many things change, but some things don't. Like Christmas shopping at P.L. Woodard in historic downtown Wilson. Nothing brings a smile to a little one like a Radio Flyer wagon or tricycle. Or how about a leaf blower, weed eater, blackstrap molasses, or old-timer and trade pocket knives for anyone on your list. The ever-popular crab pot Christmas trees are on display and ready to decorate your home for that special gift.
Come by P.L. Woodard and Company where you can find the old-fashioned magic of Christmas.
No one ever wants to go into a life emergency. In fact, many of us wouldn't even know what to do if we were faced with an emergency, but they will come. Thankfully, there's men and women that train every single day for moments like this. They work on our behalf to serve and protect our local communities. Hi, I'm Kevin Zander from Don's Body Shop and Auto Body Wilson. With everything that's going on in life right now, we just want to take a moment to thank our first responders, for those that pledged their lives to serve and protect in our communities. You know, we all expect people to do their jobs, but some people's occupations may even require them to give of their life as a sacrifice. For this reason, we also want to honor those families that lost a loved one in the line of duty. Our thoughts and our prayers are with you. Let us not take these servants for granted. To our first responders, again, we say thank you. From our nurses to our military, we appreciate your service. And as a local business owner, I pray that we continue to work together and strive for an emergency-free community. Thank you, and God bless.
Sal's Pizza, an Italian night out. Taste pizza fresh from the oven. Delicious Italian dishes made from fresh ingredients with savory sauces and textures that envelop the taste buds, satisfying with every bite. You won't leave Sal's Pizza hungry.
Best pizza in town, bar none. Love it. It's authentic. It's good stuff.
This is over the top. Sal's probably has the best pizza I've ever tasted.
If you want a dine-in authentic place to eat gourmet Italian cuisine, come to Sal's Pizza, home of a local secret, the Grandma Pizza, famous for its authentic taste. For the finest, most delicious dishes, this is the place. 2820 Sunset Avenue, Rocky Mount. Ask about Sal's Pizza catering your special events.
Promise you, the freshest ingredient in the market.
Let Smith's Pavilion of Dorchester help you plan your most memorable events. Weddings, birthday parties, graduations, reunions, and corporate events. We offer an indoor reception area, pavilion porch, fire pit area, and ceremony site. New additions coming soon include a bridal suite plus a covered bandstand and DJ area. Our executive chef can customize our in-house services to meet all your culinary needs. Smith's Pavilion of Dorchester behind Smith's Red and White, where we celebrate life's greatest events.
Why buy from Don Bullock Chevrolet? What we do it better for you, like the Lifetime Care Promise. Just drive into our service department and we'll top off your fluids and oil and check your tire pressure, all while you remain in your car. And in less than 5 minutes. Plus, it's free. Don Bullock Chevrolet is a full-service dealership with service, parts, and collision department. Let our knowledgeable and friendly staff help you. On-site, third-generation owned and operated for 105 years. Don Bullock Chevrolet.
The tank is on E, and your low tire pressure light is glaring at you again. You do not have time to wait in line and pay to put air in the tires, and you certainly don't want to get out of the car in the cold and pump gas. What if you could pull up to a gas pump and have an attendant run out to greet you to pump your gas, clean your windshield, and put air in the tire, all for no extra charge, while you step inside and enjoy a made-to-order breakfast or lunch? Does that kind of full service exist anymore? It does, at JD's Grocery and Grill, a service station created to bring back the full service experience to all customers. JD's Grocery and Grill is a full service gas station. Eat in restaurant with tasty made-to-order food and a grocery store all in one. The staff at JD's Grocery and Grill is ready to field all requests and will help you find anything you need. Call them today at 252-972-5000 or stop on by at 1240 Atlantic Avenue. Store hours, Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Grill hours, Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. JD's Grill and Grocery, at the heart of great food.
This weather segment is brought to you by Fred's Food Club, the home of rock bottom prices. Accepting cash, credit, debit, and EBT cards. New extended hours in 3 locations to serve you in Rocky Mount, Wilson, and Greenville.
Time to take a final look at our weather this morning. Let's go right to the current conditions, and we'll see we really haven't had much of a change all morning. Still at 61 degrees, the dew point at 57, relative humidity 88%, winds north at 7, and the barometer at 30.22 inches. Well, out in the Atlantic, the hurricane season has been over for more than a week, but lo and behold, we still have a system out there that is kind of a wannabe. Could become a subtropical storm today, and that's going to be the last chance it's going to have. Let's take a look at the satellite picture, and this is our infrared satellite picture, which shows that this system right here has become better organized overnight, and it's going to be moving, though, in this direction, northeast. General direction of the Azores Islands, and most likely it will not make it to a tropical or subtropical storm. As we go through the day today, we'll see this storm continue to move to the northeast and interact with a frontal zone that is off the Atlantic coast, and that will pretty much end its chances. Here's a close-up look at it. You can still see it has a front along with it, and it is still going to be a pretty good menace to shipping, but they're going to have to avoid this thing because it could become a very strong North Atlantic storm. Well, let's take a look at the forecast for our area. Today, partly cloudy, high of 63. Tonight, cloudy, chance of rain, low of 47. Friday, mostly cloudy, slight chance of rain with a high of 54. Friday night, chance of rain, a low of 41. Saturday, partly cloudy, high of 54. Chance of rain developing late Saturday night with a low of 41. For Sunday, look for a partly cloudy sky with a high of 56. Clear Sunday night with a low of 38. And Monday, sunny, a high of 54, and a clear sky Monday night with a low of 32. Looking across the country yesterday, the high temperature was 88 degrees at Lynn, Texas, and the low 36 below zero, Crosby, Dakota. 61 is our temperature right now, and that's your weather right up to the minute.
And welcome back. Tim, we were talking earlier about the case right up the road here that involved Eric Coley. Do you have the charges that were made that day?
Yes. The just a little bit of information I pulled up. The Rocky Mount Police charged the suspect with 2 counts of murder after the 2 people were shot to death in the car.
First or second, or does it say?
First.
First-degree murder.
Yep, 2 counts of first-degree murder and felony possession of a firearm by a felon.
You know, like I was saying earlier, I would love, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I'm going to have his criminal history when I come back next Thursday. I'm going to have it. You know, if I lived in Rocky Mount, you know, you need to be prepared to start asking tough questions of elected officials. Let's just speculate that he has a long rap sheet. How's this guy still on the street in Rocky Mount? How is he still on the street? Because here, you know, the best predictor of future behavior, I don't care who you are, I don't care if you're a crooked cop, I don't care if you're an elected official, I don't care who you are, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior, okay? It is.
Yes, it is.
It is, I mean, it's almost 100% spot on. And you notice being in law enforcement, indicators when you're interviewing somebody, you're talking to somebody, the best predictor of future behavior is past. And if you think somebody's just going to change on a dime and they've got an extensive criminal history and they're going to wake up today and be a different person, could it happen? Yes. Is it going to happen in the law of probability? No. It's not.
It's not.
We want it to. We want them to. And we can all make excuses and articulate reasons as to why we should hold people accountable differently. You know, I could say my dad died when I was 4. I was raised by a single parent. I was the youngest of 5. Okay, we can all search to make an excuse. But yeah, this just goes back to politics, unfortunately. It goes back to the way people think. I was brought up in a household that I was not a victim. I was brought up in a household that I was taught you will be held accountable for what you do. You know, like I told you earlier, my neighbor has whooped me. Okay? My grandmother has whooped me. And that's just not society today. Today, and I started seeing it on the highway patrol. For years, I took the approach, if I stopped a teenager speeding, and I'm talking about a 16, 17-year-old going a little fast in a school zone, I'd pick the phone up, I'd put them in my car, and I'd say, give me your mama or your daddy's phone number. You get one shot. I want a phone number where they're going to answer the phone. And they tell me. And that mom and dad were so appreciative that I took the time to call them And I would tell you, look, today they're getting a warning. This one's on me.
Next one's on you.
The next one's on you.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
basically giving mom and daddy an opportunity to address it. I know what he drives. I know where I can find him. You handle it, because ultimately the way I looked at it is mom and daddy's gonna pay that insurance.
Yes, they
And
are.
I'm here to tell you, I never had a reoccurrence. Never. Mom and daddy handled it. Now, what I noticed just before I retired is almost like mom and daddy were like, who are you to call and tell me that my son is speeding? Who are you? How dare you? Okay, and it's almost like the sentiment was changing.
Oh, it does.
To, I call it not my son. Not my baby, not my son. Who are you to be calling me? And I thought, you know what?
The buck stops.
I can fix this.
Yes, you can.
And sadly, the phone calls stopped. Because times have changed.
I can recall a vehicle stop near National Central High. Not too far before I retired in the end of 2019, first of 20. And I walked up the car, and you've known me for, good God, what, 25 years. I don't disrespect nobody.
Yeah.
I was raised in a highway patrol family, and you talking about your mama, it was my daddy. This is where it's gonna be. And I'm glad of it now. But when you walk up to a car of a 16 or 17-year-old, the first thing that comes out of their mouths is, what would you stop me for?
Yeah.
You know, with the attitude and already, and I'm like, boy, if the times hadn't changed.
Yeah.
And I tell you, it's tough. It truly is. And I was like, if the world's coming to this, the best thing I can do now is get out.
You know, when the Highway Patrol started putting cameras out, I'm gonna say 25 years ago. Okay, I was one of the first people on the patrol in our district to get a camera. Okay. I was upset. I was mad. I was like, they're trying to spy on me. They're trying to watch me. And I had an older trooper come to me and say, look, JP, are you going to do anything illegal or unethical? I said, no. He said, well, don't worry about that camera.
That's exactly.
He said, that camera's going to take care of itself.
Exactly right.
He said, you keep doing what you're doing. He said, as long as you keep doing what you're doing, don't worry about that camera. He said, because that camera ain't going to lie for you.
That's right.
And it ain't going to lie against you.
That's right.
And I thought, you know what?
That's a true point.
He's got a point.
Yes, he does.
And I didn't change the way I conducted business, sir, ma'am. I'm Trooper Barnes, North Carolina State Highway Patrol. The reason I stopped you today is going 75 and a 45, blah, 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 blah. Have you had here in a moment? People call the Highway Patrol and say, well, he said this. He said that. He cut. And your supervisor would play the DVD, and the only thing is out of my mouth is yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no. They lied.
That's what I enjoyed about it.
That DVD does not lie.
No.
And I posed a question. I said, see, now, from my standpoint, see, the public at that time didn't know everything they said and did was being recorded. See, they should be charged. And I still say this today. If you're going to call and you're going to file a complaint against a law enforcement officer, and it's clearly documented and proven that you lied, that's a false police report.
It sure is.
And you should be held accountable for your lying.
Yes, you should. Because I have ended a whole lot of complaints. Back in the day, they'd come in, they'd say, he said this, he said this, he said this. And I said, that's no problem. I can pull his video and find out. Never mind, I don't need to.
Yeah.
Hey, it is what it is. Don't try to get somebody else in trouble when you haven't done anything wrong.
You know, I was put into an awkward situation early in my career where I stopped another law enforcement officer.
Done that.
My mind went back to what this trooper had told me. He said, brother, you do your job. You do your job.
That's right.
The gentleman told me who he was, threatened me, threatened my job, threatened my career and threatened my family.
Oof.
And it was captured on video. I placed him under arrest for drinking and driving, got him back to my car, left the camera on. And he laughed on the way to Nashville, and he's like, "You don't even know who I am." I said, "Yes, sir, I know who you are. I know who you are." He continued to, I mean, he wasn't belligerent,
right?
But he's like, "I'm connected. I will get you fired or at least transferred." And I was nothing but respectful to this gentleman. Took him all the way to Nashville. And he was so connected that I had already reached out at night to the troop lieutenant and the troop captain. And I was like, where is this going to go? The next day, they asked me to come to Raleigh, pulled my DVD. And this is what I love about Highway Patrol. I never heard nothing. Nothing. He got convicted. That DVD was a tool because it guarantees that I didn't mistreat him, and it also serves as a guarantee that I wasn't mistreated.
Mm-hmm.
He can't lie on me. He can't say I put my hands on him. I loved that tool, especially from that point in my career forward.
That little mic in the car does
That's exactly right. That's
does
right.
Wonders, man.
Because I had already made up my mind, if this goes to court before a judge and the DA,
it's going to come out.
All they're going to do is play this in open court.
That's exactly right.
And it's going to make him look like a fool. You know. And I've seen this gentleman since. And he was basically gracious. He's like, you saved my life. Hey.
People don't realize it then.
That's good. That's good. Well, Tim, thanks for guest co-hosting.
Thank you again.
I have really enjoyed it.
Yes, sir.
Really enjoyed seeing you, reminiscing, talking about some old things, talking about our days on the Highway Patrol. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.